Minimalism. Minimalism. This is a thing that's taken off in various formats. Various names have been given to it. But minimalism is probably the most recognizable one. What is it? What be minimalism? There's really two answers to this. There's two answers. The first answer is, broadly speaking, minimalism is to have only what you need and nothing more. Nothing, I can speak English. Nothing more. Broadly speaking. There's a few strains of it. Marie Kondo method says it's what sparks joy for you. That's one particular take on it. For some people, it's only what is functional. And for some people, it is, supposedly just high quality but less of things. So there's a spectrum I propose. Most people propose. There's a spectrum that has been proposed. Anyhow, the way I look at it is someone ran up to another lady, electrocuted them to death. And they were asked, why did you do that? Is it minimalism? Were you decluttering them? And the answer is no. Her name was Joy. There are takes on it, but the reality of the situation is all of them are wrong. They're all wrong. It started as one thing and it ended up as something entirely different. Minimalism nowadays, the new definition, is basically how little can you have in each category? The Olympic sport. And how much can you tell people how happy you are about living with one singular chopstick because you managed to figure out how to use just the one and you don't need any more? One will do. You've traveled the world and all you've taken with you is your one chopstick, right? It's now an Olympic sport, a competition really. And not only is it a competition to have as little as possible and to tell people how happy you are with that very little amount, but it has its very own hashtag aesthetic. Aesthetic. Hashtag aesthetic. What is the hashtag aesthetic? Problematically white. That's the aesthetic. If you want it summarized in 2 words, problematically white. And now, before you think I'm taking this to a position of race, I'm not, though you very well could. Though you very well could, if you look deep into the influencers that really run the aesthetic online. I'm talking more about problematically white in the sense of, have you ever worn all white clothing before? Yes, you play cricket. We're all aware. You don't need to tell us about it. No one wants to watch your game. We don't have as much trouble falling asleep. We'd rather read an accounting textbook from 7 years ago. But if you're in all white, it's problematic because, if you breathe oxygen, it's going to get dirt on it. You walk outside, it's going to get dirt on it. White is difficult. It's a difficult color. If you've got white walls, you have dirty walls. If you've got white floors, you have dirty floors. If you've got white clothes, you have dirty clothes. If you have white anything, it's not white anymore. It's like your teeth. Teeth aren't even white. They're a lie. See, look closely. They're slightly yellow. It's the natural color of teeth is slightly yellow. It's not just because I take very terrible care of my teeth. I actually take good care of my teeth. It's just their natural color is slightly yellow because that's what happened. They were white to start with, but nothing stays white. Problematically white. So that's what minimalism is now. It's a problematically white Olympics to have as few things as possible. And how do you get to this point? How do you get to this point where you yourself can be a successful minimalist? Because obviously that's a life goal that you want to aspire to. So I've tried to have a career and a family. I've tried to have joy in my life, raise a cat or a dog or a child or a fern, and it's all failed on me. You know what? I'm going to find my success and fulfillment through minimalism. Then how do you do it? How do you do it? You do it through decluttering. Decluttering. Because all that stuff that you own. You know, that stuff that you use on a daily basis, that has a sentimental value to you, that you purchased with your hard-earned coin because you saw it and you wanted it and it fulfilled you in some fashion. All of that is clutter. Clutter. Chaos in your mind. It is basically the hurricane that ruins your life. Yes, science proves it. Science proves it. Did you know if you have so much clutter in your house, you're in a constant state of stress? Science proves that. Science proves that if you have so much stuff, you're in a constant state of stress. You know what's going to take you out of that state of stress? Do you know what will take you out of that state of stress? Stop worrying about, the fact that you got stuff around you and start worrying about the fact you have stuff around you. Minimalism. The more you worry about getting rid of your clutter, obviously the less stressful it is, right? Right? Decluttering. So decluttering is about getting rid of your clutter, aka your things. And there's a hard truth people need to learn about decluttering. There's a hard truth people need to learn about decluttering. Decluttering is difficult. It's difficult. Looking at your wardrobe and choosing the one shirt you're going to keep in the perfect shade of grey because you're an ideal minimalist and grey is the colour that's in. That's difficult to do. Getting rid of all of your furniture so you can replace it with something white so you can meet the aesthetic. That's hard to do. Spicy Corset, thank you very much for the follow. Nice crown. You should declutter it. Decluttering is difficult, and the main reason decluttering is difficult is no one wants your shit. To put it blankly, no one wants your shit. Except for you. Except for you. Have you ever tried to sell something online, like on Facebook Marketplace? It is a giant pain in the patootie. It's a giant pain in the patootie. You're like, all right, I'm decluttering my stuff. I'm going to get rid of my shoes. I'm only going to have one pair of shoes from now on. I've selected the Jesus sandals so I can look like a really true purist minimalist. All the rest of my shoes are gone now. And you go to sell your shoes online. No one wants your used shoes. No one wants your used shoes. They can go to TJ Maxx or TK Maxx. I don't know why they changed one letter in some countries, but they did. And you can buy a brand new, beautiful pair of shoes for $15? No one wants your old shoes. No one wants them. Even if they're the best ones that were on sale. Even if they were the most beautiful pair of shoes. Even if you bought them on an auction because they were limited edition. Even if you waited outside the sneaker store to purchase them. You were in that large queue and you were like, yes, I need Kanye's new drops. I need the kicks. I need them on my feet now. No one cares. No one wants your old shoes. Except you. So when you go to declutter your stuff, one thing you'll come into, smack bam, run into is that no one wants your old shit. They just don't. Except you. And let me emphasize this, except you. Because this is where stuff turns out to be more than stuff. Whoa. We get philosophical here. Stuff is more than stuff. Now, you guys here in chat, be honest with me here. You guys in chat, do you ever see an item that you own and see more than just the thing? Say you bought yourself a figurine. Is it just a figurine or is it a memory of an event, an occasion, a person, a time of your life? If you got yourself a pair of shoes, is it just a pair of shoes? Or again, is there more to it? There's more to it. For pretty much everyone. Even you minimalists. Liars when they say that it's not. Liars. A lot of things have what's called a sentimental value. Sentimental value. And the minimalists, they teach you that your memories are this beautiful ethereal thing that you should not attach to objects. Because an object is merely an object. Your memory transcends that. These sentimental things transcend that. They live in your heart. That's anatomically incorrect. It's basically just a giant pump. Your heart is a pump. It moves blood. They live in your brain. That's the truth of the matter. In your brain. That's where the memory is. And has anyone here studied psychology? I haven't. But even I know that the memory is a terribly unreliable thing. That little pile of meat juice in your skull, it's not great. It's not great. It's not great. If you try your hardest to remember things, you'll probably have a nice vivid scene in your mind of what happened, and it's probably wrong in every way. Because memory is so freaking unreliable. So unreliable. False memories are very, very common, as Dev Diner says. Sometimes you make up memories. Sometimes you have memories, but they're distorted. Sometimes you don't have memories at all because you're sleep deprived, because you're a new mother, and your child keeps waking you up every few hours. Either way, Mini Mandela. Getting philosophical here. Either way, we're talking about minimalism here. We're talking about minimalism. Your shit means something to you because of this sentimental value. And minimalists argue you can have that without the shit. And that is possibly true. However, you have to bear in mind, it is very weak. Memory is very weak, and it does fade. So that's, I think, the main place where that argument falls apart. And now we've had this recent wave crashing like an ocean wave of people who got into minimalism, really got into it, because they bought into the philosophy. Capitalism is bad. Materialism is bad. Things are bad. I spend all my time thinking about things. I could spend that time thinking about porn. And now I'm thinking about things instead. Here I am thinking about the next pair of jeans to buy. I could be thinking about something else, like porn. I mean, people are out there, like, they've bought into this minimalism thing, and they've come out the other side, and they're like, damn it. I decluttered all this stuff, and I miss it now. I miss my stuff, especially the sentimental stuff. A funny thing happened. Marie Kondo, who's one of the biggest names in this space, ended up saying she doesn't worry about tidiness as much now since she's got kids. It's actually really funny. If you watch some of the biggest names in minimalism, they even say things like, if you came to my house, you wouldn't even know it's the house of a minimalist. I wonder why. This ain't sustainable, maybe. Maybe it's because this ain't sustainable. Just putting it out there. But a lot of people that bought into it at the time are peeved. They're pissed. Because they're like, I bought into this whole ideology. I got rid of my sentimental items because it's okay. I can hold these memories in my heart, mind. And now they're like, I miss my stuff. Because I tell you something, Salvos, Vinnie's, the thrift store, they don't value your old shit the way that you value your old shit. For them, it is merely old shit. 50% off this weekend only. And once it's gone, it's gone. So for a lot of people, they're pretty upset about that. They're like, oh no, I got rid of all this stuff and I miss it. So it's a bit of a tricky scenario because it's not all rubbish. It's not all rubbish. If you are drowning in piles of your own crap and you can't see your spouse because they're behind one of the piles, if you're tripping over your stuff, if you're going to get dressed in the morning and you're choosing between your 3,000 t-shirts, you may have a problem. You may have a problem. You may want to shimmy that collection down a little bit, right? It's not all entirely rubbish. And also, materialism is an issue. It is an issue. We do buy more things than we probably should. And stuff nowadays is not manufactured as well, so it usually has a shorter shelf life, including things that should not even have a shelf life. Redundant technologies. I'm looking at you. Those of you who have been designed to essentially be thrown out in 2 years. But at the same time, there is a balance. There is a balance that is required. One of the main influencers, I like to call them influencers. They're influencers. But truly, are they? I think influenza is a better word for it. One of the main influencers in the minimalist space is two people that have gone about calling themselves, get this, the minimalists. Oh, I thought that was pretty clever. They thought that one out. They're like, SEO, here we go, max it. They're called the minimalists. And the reason I bring them up is purely because I think this is funny. All these people have attempted minimalism. I would argue the only people that have gotten any sort of benefit here in the long run are the people who are minimalist influencers, the people that have managed to create a content empire on minimalism. And I think this is the funniest part of it. I brought up the website, the Minimalist Podcast. Look at this. They are up to episode 476. Episode 476. They have 476 episodes on minimalism. I'm sorry, but this has got to be one of the funniest things I've ever seen. See, Ben, thank you for joining. 476 episodes. Talk about digital clutter, my friends. 476. I hope each episode is, 20 seconds long. Keep it concise. It's not very minimalist. Not very minimalist. I'm sorry, I have to call you out on this, minimalists. They've also got not one, but 2 documentaries. 2. It's just like your jeans. Do you really need 2 pairs of jeans, Frank? Because, if you're a true minimalist, you would manage with just 1 piece of thread. You just re-sew it every time into a different outfit. Hashtag minimalism. Hashtag eco-friendly. Eco-friendly. Daisy, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Yes, I have dyed my hair multiple colors. Right now my hair is dark. Well, if one thing breaks, you need the other thing. I mean, I guess so. If one of the documentaries breaks, you need a second documentary, don't you? That's just practical. That's functional. I guess both documentaries spark joy. I'm not sure. They have 2 documentaries, multiple books, and 476 podcast episodes. Now, if you remember back to the start of this, I managed to successfully summarize the essence of minimalism in about a sentence, which is having no more than what you need. That's it. That's the essence of minimalism. Have no more than what you need. Obviously, you can look really deeply into that. What does no more mean? What does need mean? What does what mean? What does you mean? I've been philosophizing it over 476 episodes. So I thought, you know what? Clearly, the minimalists are not fit to be the face of minimalism anymore. No more. So I hypothesize that I should run the next big minimalism social media account. I have ideas. Unlike these minimalists, my minimalism account will be proper minimalism. Oh my God. Can you imagine how much clutter these people have? Just stresses me out. The stuff stresses me out. So on my minimalist account, my username will just be the letter M. I would say minimalism or minimalist, but that's so many letters. I want to keep it simple. Want to keep it minimal. It'll just be the letter M. everyone will know that that means minimalism. And if they don't, they're not deeply entrenched enough in the cult and they don't deserve to be a follower anyway. So I will just be M. Rather than posting things on my timeline, things. Oh my God, they're so freaking materialist of these people to be posting things. I'm anti-things. I'm a minimalist. So I'm not going to have any posts. Freaking hell. I'll be able to get my message across without it. Under that, I'm going to have my description. And I've thought really long and hard about what my description is going to be. And it's just going to be the word meaningful. Just the word meaningful. Because I'm going to declutter everything that isn't meaningful and just keep what's meaningful. Just that one word. Just the one word. And for my default picture, it's going to look like it's just a white square, but it's not. It's not going to be just a white square. Because it's going to be me in my house. It's going to be the entire house, which is one room. And it's going to be painted Arctic white. I'm going to be wearing my white clothes, my white sneakers. I'm obviously white because only white people can do this. Otherwise, you're not qualified to do minimalism. Sorry to break it to you. I'll also dye my hair white. Or maybe I'll remove my hair. Hair is kind of a little bit, it's kind of like a thing. You don't really want it. Declutter. So it would just be all white, but it's actually a photo. It's not just a white square. If you look closely, you might see slight shading. I've been working on removing that because it's kind of cluttery, a bit noisy, really. So that's what I'm thinking. That will be it. That will be the account. Obviously, like Tony says, are you a minimalist if you have followers? No, because your followers are clutter. Your followers are clutter. So anytime someone follows me, I will block them. But it's really to teach them the lesson. I just want people to learn because I'm an educational account, Yeah, so every time someone follows, I'm also going to block them. Obviously, they can't really comment because there aren't any posts, but you never know. If I had a post, they could leave a comment, and that's digital clutter, and we don't want that either. So that's what I was thinking for my account. Yeah, I'm not going to publish a book. I don't believe in books. They take up space on shelves. I don't believe in shelves. Obviously, I'm not going to have a podcast because you need to buy a microphone for that. And that just doesn't seem like it's functional in my life. Microphones, really? To be honest, once I've made my account, I will also have to declutter my phone. But because I'm eco-friendly, I never bought a phone in the first place. I just borrowed a friend's phone and I gave it back to them. Buying phones, that's so bad for the planet, guys. It's not very minimalist. Yeah, so then I can go back to my white room and live with my beautiful minimalist life. And do you know what? My life will be full of meaning and happiness. Because true joy is not attached to the things you own. True joy is not attached to the things you own. It's attached to how little things you have, how white the things you have are, and most importantly, it is attached to the false memories that you can still remember in your brain because you have no sentimental items or photos to attach them to. I think I went to school. Pretty sure one of the people there was called James. I mean, I can't know for certain. I decluttered the photo books and my school books and any sentimental items from the time, but I'm pretty sure there was James. I'm so happy living in my memories in perfect peace and calm. Minimalism. Did we declutter James? Oh, I sure hope so. I sure hope so. At least I don't have to go to the library. B. Ryan. Libraries are full of clutter. I kind of get a little bit of anxiety every time I walk into a library. I'm like, oh my God, look at all these books. They've even got labels on them. There's people around. People can be clutter. That's true. I could just scream really loudly. No need for a microphone. Oh, if you're traveling, that's a different story. Yeah, that's true. If you're traveling, you're going to need a passport. That's why, as a true minimalist, I decided to stop traveling, because passports were weighing me down. The collapse of the universe is kind of like decluttering. Oh my God, you're a true minimalist. But then you were typing, and I'm assuming you were typing on something, so false minimalist. Go declutter your platter. You go do that.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notification bell, because clicking things is fun. If you want to see the full versions of these Twitch streams, then you can on my channel, twitch.tv/MaryAmber. And if you want to catch VODs, if you've missed streams, then check out my Patreon, Ninja Club, patreon.com/MaryAmber.